the things that I ask our audience try to refrain from talking during our business section of the meeting. So at this time, I'm going to ask that we take a moment's silence for one of our city employees, Anita Jackson, who lost her son to the war. Just take a moment's silence. This time we move to the clerk report.
Good evening to all. I do hope all is well. I'd like to say, on behalf of my office and the entire street department and all of the department, I want to say a most heartfelt condolence to one of our own, Ms. Shanita, on the loss of her son, Willie Jr. And the arrangements have been made, and it will be on, the viewing is on Wednesday evening the wake is from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and the services is going to be, the visitation is going to be from 3 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. at St. Mark Missionary Baptist Church, 14618 Lincoln, Harvey, Illinois. The going home service is going to be Thursday, July 27th at St. Mark Missionary Baptist Church, wake 10 to 11, funeral 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Wednesday from 3 to 7:30. Visitation. And then the homegoing service is Thursday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. And they're going to Mount Hope Cemetery after that. Her repast is being done for the employees of the city of Harvey at the Dalton Park District, and that is at 721 Ingle Street in Dalton, Illinois. And she had asked, just so you guys will have a heads up, please, when you go, don't take no pictures and no videos. Mayor Miss Morningstar is at the hospital with her daughter. That's it.
Thank you very much, This time we'll move to item number 7, approval of minutes dated Monday, July 10th, 2017. What's the pleasure of council? Chair recognizes Alderwoman Wilson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Before we take a vote on this, I would like to amend that. In the minutes recorded, when it came over to the bills list for the minutes of the last council meeting, when it came to the bills, I had to ask the question, did the bills go to the finance committee? And Alderman Nesbitt said no, remember that? And I would like that noted.
Okay, on which one?
For the minutes of,
July 10th?
yeah, July 10th.
Okay. Did the bills go to the
Finance.
Finance, okay, gotcha.
And Alderman Nesbitt said no. Thank you.
Motion to approve minutes dated Monday, July 10th, with the said correction.
Second.
Will we take a roll call?
Alderwoman Lewinsky?
Yes.
Alderman Whittington?
Yes.
Alderman Clark?
Aye.
Alderman King?
Yes.
Alderman Nesbitt?
Aye.
And Alderman Price?
Yes.
Motion carried on the minutes for July 10th
Thank you very much.
with the correction.
This point we move to item number 8, approval of bills dated Monday, July 10th and 24th, 2017. What's the pleasure of council?
Okay, asking for approval of $1,428,087.69.
Second. Let's vote bills this one.
You voting on omnibus? Two bills. You can take them independently.
July 10th. July 10th, 24.
Pretty much, second.
Move to second roll call.
Alderman Lewinsky.
No.
Alderman Whittington. No. Alderman Clark. Alderman Key.
Yes.
Alderman Nesbitt.
Yes.
Alderman Price.
Aye.
Yes, hello. Motion carried.
This time we move to the mayor's report. If anyone has noticed the Chicago Tribune of the Sun-Times, this particular article was in the Chicago Tribune. What it's pointed out was that there was some racist and sexist emails with respect to the water department. And it showed a certain scope of scandal at the Chicago Water Department. Some of the emails obtained by the Chicago Tribune cast a light on the scope of offensiveness of racist and sexist politically connected supervisors at the top level of the Chicago Water Department. You look at a month before the investigation of the email dated the high-ranking official losing the job at the Department of the Water Management. There was anti-black messages. And again, I'm going to frame all this for a reason. Some of the supervisors was ousted. Barry Murphy, 2015, an email not long after the election for the city council and mayor. This guy boasted of the ability to swing elections. But the interesting thing to the various races or individuals that work in the water department here were connected with Mayor Ron. A federal lawsuit filed by alleged that African-American employees of the Chicago Water Department routinely would be denied promotions and subjected to racial slurs. It also talked about, it was titled Watermelon Protection, and included images that depicted a scarecrow dressed in a white KKK robe. Chicago water system. We got racism in the water department. What a shock. Real shock is that this is old-fashioned, old-school racism. So the whole key is they're trying to drive out these racists and these bigots in the Chicago water department. So you ask where I'm going with this. Those are some of the names that was used to describe individuals' sexual orientation. KKK, Ku Klux Klan scarecrow, KKK roll, challenged Negro midgets. Mary Manning was close friend with Murphy, who was there to swing elections. Some of the facts with respect to the City of Harvey. City of Harvey billed $32 million. City of Harvey paid $32 million. City of Harvey pulled $4 million from the general fund. Okay, why? You You know that the city of Chicago's water department faces increasing pressure for allowing the cultivating of culture of racial discrimination. The same department is misrepresenting facts related to the city of Harvard, a predominantly African American community. Chicago's water department and the financial service division that oversees the department were managed by the same commission and the supervisors that were identified in a 3-year long investigation that revealed overt racial slurs and direct attacks against Black, Muslims, women, and members of the LGBT. So this time I wanted to preface the racism that is very prevalent in the Chicago Water Department to show the culture that was created by the Chicago Water Department. I would ask that Mr. Williams at this point expound on our current water situation, because there has been individuals who have put out misinformation with regards to our water. And certainly we want to let the citizens of Harvey know and understand that there has not been any diversion of city dollars or any other negative thing as if Kate Jewelers and the negative lies that they put out. At this point, I would ask Mr. Williams to expound, because he's our residential expert with respect to the finances of the city of Harvey. He's been doing a phenomenal job. As I always like to say, that all our audits are cut up, and he's doing a phenomenal job in turning our finances around. Mr. Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. Citizens, Alderman. Normally I don't respond to things that are in the newspaper, because when I respond, I don't have the wide circulation that the Tribune has. That's one of the reasons I told the mayor it almost ends up being a waste of energy. A couple issues we just have to address. The main one is the city of Chicago put out that we had misdirected $26 million in money out of the water fund for non-water related expenditures. Now, I'm gonna take everybody back to a little arithmetic. This isn't even math or algebra. The cumulative principle. That is A plus B equals C, and C minus B equals A. And I've been there before. The mayor up here notes, and those numbers are pretty close to it. For 2 fiscal years, the city of Harvey bills roughly $16 million a year in water billing. That's to the citizens of Harvey and to the downstream municipalities that we supply water to. So during this time period when we were diverting, and our birth, the number went from 5 million one year and 3 million one year, that they just said we diverted a whole $26 million. Let's go back to the cumulative principle. If I bill 32 million, I'm just gonna forget, I'll just make this point. That assumes I collect it all. We know nobody in this room is behind in their water bill at all. No citizens. So I'm gonna work with the assumption that I collect all 32 million. During these same 2 fiscal years, we paid the city of Harvey, and we paid the city of Chicago 32 million. So if I collected it all and I paid Harvey 32 million, what that 32 million was comprised of, it was $28 million on the current water bills. We were absolutely current on our water bills from the October 14th bill to the November 16th bill. Every month they received a payment toward the current portion. That amounts to about $28 million. In addition to that, we had an agreement that we would pay them roughly $3 million on the bill in arrears. Okay? We actually paid them $4 million over this same period. Okay? That's how we arrived at the 32 million. Now, so I gave Chicago everything we billed, but I still have operating costs. I still have bonds to pay. And this, think through this long and hard when we talk about how do you pay, because in essence, the money that we had to pay Chicago over time was about $18 million minus the interest and penalty. Well, if you have a mortgage on your house, the only way you pay your mortgage is to have income. Okay? And with that income, you're able to pay off your mortgage. That is unless you're a pyramid, you can borrow your way out of debt, which no one's ever successfully done, unless we borrowed the money. So in order to be able to pay Chicago $3 million, we either have to make $3 million, or we have to borrow $3 million from somebody else to pay Chicago. Well, we didn't make $3 million, and that would be, you guys would have every right to complain that if the annual billings for the water department are 16 million, and we making 3 on it, we are a little greedy. That's not the case. What happened during this time period is, we actually took $4 million from the general fund in order to be able to pay the city of Chicago the money. Because we still have about $4 million a year of annual operating expenses. Now, nobody has to believe a word I say in terms of these numbers, but I would direct you to the City of Harvey's website, the City Clerk of Harvey's website, or the State of Illinois website, and you will see the audited financial statements, the independently prepared financial statements. And I'll tell you to go look at page 14 through 16. And you'll see the balance sheet of the proprietary fund, which is the water fund. And you'll see these numbers that I just quoted out to. So we kind of got caught in the catch-22, because the city forced us to agree to pay, that we would pay them $255,000 a month in addition to staying current, and we did as long as we could. Now, there's another story they keep telling, and it just shows you when people are being disingenuous. The issue of K Jewelers, Capital Credit Card, 521, Education Fund, somehow or another, we know you're watching us. We so stupid, we still gonna go to K Jewelers. I told the mayor, I said, if I bring home the K Jeweler box and not the blue box, I'm in trouble. They want the blue box, not K Jewelers. But that being said, when you think about it, who would be that stupid? Now what happened, and again, anybody that hasn't heard of this occurring or wants to see if it occurs, I'm a real honest person. But if you don't believe what I tell you, tonight, at the end of the night, I want you to take a check out of your checkbook and void the check and give it to me. But watch your account for the next week. Because I'm going to pay my Comcast bill, and I'm going to give the money back to you. But I'm going to show you how easy it is. Now, Harvey has been this literally all over the country. We get chlorine, chloride from somebody, we get office supplies from somebody. So everybody should understand, and this is why you have to look at your bank account. And you as a person, you get basically 60 days to call the bank and say, bank, I didn't sign that check, that's not my check. I didn't generate that e-check, and they'll reverse it. A business has 5 days. So what happened with these K Jeweler charges and the like, we had just switched our bank account from MB Bank to Fifth Third. So some vendor or some person unknown to us basically generated e-checks. All you gotta have is the routing number and the bank account number. It could have been an employee, it could have been some stranger in some currency exchange where somebody cashed a check. Now, we watch Harvey's money. And this is where the city's disingenuous. The charges hit on one day, these fraudulent checks were presented. And we see the bank statement a day later, because it shows up a day later. We reported these items to Fifth Third via email. We gave the city a copy of the email saying these are fraudulent charges. No questions asked from us. The charges show up the next day. It's a credit. Now we pointed that out to the city when they brought it to our attention and said that matter's been taken care of. The city said, oh, you got the money back from the employee, or you found a dishonest employee, or you put the money back. That's not what happened. It's a credit memo. And we explained that memo. So for them to continue to tell this lie over and over and over again, it lets you know they're being disingenuous. Now, I hate to tie the two together, but I'll be honest with you, I've been dealing with the water department since I got here, because this water issue with Harvey not paying all his water bills, has gone on for some time, and I don't like to pull the race card out. But when you throw the race card in my face, the way I've been talked to, I just assumed it was because they thought I was too big for my own britches, and proving to them that Harvey was gonna pay his obligations and meet his obligations. But again, like I said, I don't want to go further into detail on it because obviously this is pending litigation. But again, I would again direct you to the City of Harvey site, the clerk's site. If you feel more comfortable getting information off third-party sites, the state controller sites, the audit reports are on there, and I just tell you, look at the balance sheets, which, by the way, between 15 and 16 reflect the $4 million that was taken out of the general fund to pay the water bill. It reflects the profits of the water fund. And remember, you can only pay $3 million, $4 million on the back debt, one or two ways: generate a profit, which we didn't do, or borrow the money, or take the money from another fund, which is what we would do. I would tell you is that we're not gonna take this sit down, that we're gonna take this next level, because the truth is the truth, and the numbers just don't lie. So, that being said, Mayor, I turn it back over.
So, thank you, Mr. Williams, for your expert analysis. I would caution the residents, when you see things in print from Chicago or Sun-Times or the Tribune, you can contact Mr. Williams, you can contact anyone, department heads, and you get the truth. Oftentimes, individuals get half-truths, and then they disseminate information to the public to try to put a negative slant on the story to defame the character of this great city, as well as myself. So with that said, move to, thank you, Mr. Williams. Mr. Seth, you want to talk about the next frame?
Well, this is a new addition to the Public Works Mayor, and thank you for seeing the urgency with our grass issue. We received in July a brand new John Deere tractor with a industrial strength bush hog. And we purchased 2 bush hogs because last year we bought a 2016 John Deere, and this year we got a 2017 John Deere. So I'm hoping that everybody sees the 2 new tractors out every day, cutting vacant lots here in the city.
Well, again, I saw it working today, and it's doing just a great job.
Beautiful machine. Thank you, Mayor.
One of the things I want to compliment, now that we got the equipment, the grass is starting to look a lot better than all the wards. And I want to personally just thank those aldermen that I know who are out there. Again, I'm not trying to be biased or anything, but Alderman Price and Edwin Keys are out there. Those are the ones that contact me, those are the wards that I go to, and those are the ones that I'm able to ascertain information as well as data to make that case. Great.
Those are the industrial bush hogs that are cutting the vacant lots right now, Mayor. Those are the 2 that you'll see on the back of the new bush hogs. And there's one of our great public works employees out there cutting the vacant lots over there in Lexington. And there you can see how awesome, and I do mean awesome, these bush hogs with these new tractors are doing a phenomenal job of cutting through this prairie grass that you used to see in the city of Harvey. I have.
Let's try to keep them all out. Bush hogs, right? Next time I want to ask that, what happened was, there have been several residents that contacted me. One is a city employee, contacted me with good information regarding things that's occurring with respect to prosecution. I contacted Chief Eads along with the deputy chiefs, and as a result of that, I'll turn it over to Chief Eads or Deputy Chief Banks, whichever, or Deputy Chief Thomas, I'm sorry.
As a response to some of the complaints concerning prostitution in various areas in Harvey, an initiative started on last week. I won't give dates and location because this operation is not over yet, where we utilize some employees and female police officers to address the covert capacity, and fortunately we were successful in making several arrests on a prostitution sting. This is a very serious operation due to the fact usually where you see high-level prostitution, it draws in other crimes and other victims. So we've been able to give some attention. We set a projected timeline. It started last week. It will continue. So I guess we're warning to those who want to solicit the women in Harvey. You never know. It's the police or just one of these women. But it's been a very, very successful operation thus far. And once again, you should see a relief in that area. And if there is prostitution in your area that you think you know more about, feel free to call the Harvey Police Department, and we'll certainly check that area as well.
Yeah, this is also, I'd ask the chief to put together a task force to address this. And again, I just want to commend the chief and all the deputy chiefs and the police department for doing a great job. Yeah.
Oh, this is a picture of, picture on the right is some of the vehicles. When these individuals are arrested, not only do they have to pay their bonds for the charge, but the vehicle is towed at an expense of $1,100. That's just the vehicles being towed and the towed in the police department, not including the storage fee for the tow. So it's been it's been an opportunity to really penalize those who come out of town and assume that it's okay to come in and solicit women or come in and cause various issues. So this is one of the vehicles on the left. You may see some slides of other vehicles. We haven't released the pictures of the John yet. We do have, and there is an effort to release it later. Once again, the operation is not over yet, so we don't want to expose everything. But these are vehicles that we see doing the same.
You want to talk about the,
Yes, this is a letter that I received from the Links organization. The police department went to visit the schools, and we put together an anti-bullying program. And as you can see on the letter there, we were successful in winning, the Links were successful because of that program in getting the first place award. And this directly coincides with the anti-bullying program that we did last year, which culminated in a hearing being held in Martin Court, a mock hearing, just to teach the kids not to bully and not to talk down to their peers.
again, I certainly want to thank the Links, but I think if they didn't send a letter to School District 147, also Board President Radley, they should, because that was a collaborative initiative between School District 147 and the City of Harvey. So the Links should direct a letter. I don't know, Ms. Pettit.
Well, let me just say, we need to direct a letter, our district. They have done a wonderful, wonderful job in our district. Not only with the bullying program, they also working in the STEM program. They have partnered with our district and are planning to do even more this year. I was at the program in Marble when they had the mock trial. I work with these kids every day. They have an impact on our children. So beyond the award, which I'm very proud, I knew they would get an award for that, but the impact that it has on our children, the relationship that they have with policemen now, the attitude that they have about policemen, it's a wonderful thing, and it's exactly what is needed in our community. So our district is going to send a letter to the mayor and the league thanking you for coming in our district is doing that. We really appreciate it.
And, Board President Bradley, you're absolutely correct. When you look at any longitudinal or latitudinal data, it talks about anti-bullying programs to eradicate some of the negative aspects of bullying. So this collaborative initiative is very important. Hopefully, member of the Links will let the Links know that we certainly we take pride in what we do. We look forward to those particular collaborative initiatives. When you have collaborations like the Links organization, those are the type of linkage programs that we're trying to get other members of our community to get involved. That's the only way that you can combat all the negativity in the city. So again, I want to personally thank the Links, even though we'll talk about that later. But no, certainly thank you. That will conclude the PowerPoint. Thank you, Deputy Chief Banks, for your stepping in.
Thank you, members of the City Council, Madam Clerk, Mr. Mayor. Indeed, the water crisis, quite simply, the article was sensationalized quite a bit. The $12,000 issue, we had responded to numerous occasions and offered the proof of burden, but yet still the collaboration, take good notes on this and call them and tell them I said it, that the collaboration between the Tribune and some members of the community who chose to call in without factual data and give false information. What happens is the Tribune has some 500,000 readers in the physical paper and another 500,000 online, and those things kind of disseminate. So our attorney and myself did a follow-up article this morning again, and that article should hit tomorrow with a, not so much a retraction, but our clarity on the issue as well. Also, if those of you who, and I've stated this and mentioned this plenty of times, that story had legs. Mr. Mayor knows and Mr. Williams knows. We had 8 different media outlets call us on that. And I spent 25 minutes on the phone articulating the facts. No one ran the story. They said, oh, this is nothing. It's sensationalized. But once again, there seems to be some teamwork between members of the community, 2 or 3 people, and the Tribune. And so when other outlets see something that's sensationalized and choose not to run it, that should tell a lot of us something that, and I won't go into yesteryear, but we continue to have this problem. But the good part is, as the editor of one of the outlets told me, it appears things are working smooth and things are progressing, and they're monitoring. The other outlets monitor us because the same people who call the Trib call all the other papers and television stations, and I get the calls on a day-to-day basis, and I spend time on the phone putting fires out. There really aren't fires. So once again, as the mayor before mentioned, Mr. Williams, feel free to call, look at the website, whether it be the clerk's website, the city of Harvey, or the state of Illinois, page 14 through 16. All the financial data is there to confirm what the mayor and Mr. Williams said for mention. Thank you.
And again, I certainly would ask that citizens, before you get this misinformation, start disseminating the disinformation, contact City Hall so that we can be accurate information. It's unfortunate that individuals want to make political mockery or one-upmanship with respect to these religious lies that they basically tell in the newspaper. The newspaper is constantly making money off the city of Harvey. And you didn't talk about the Pulitzer Prize, Doc.
Yeah.
I think this is important that the citizens need to know.
Did I talk about the street name?
Yes.
We named the street after certain individuals here in the city of Harvey, which you, the residents, can be proud of. Whether it be the previous mayor, David Johnson, whether it be some of the other persons, Minister Farrakhan and others. And so apparently, after we named the street after the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who was well deserving of that honor, and I see heads are nodding in agreement, that's when we had particular people assigned to various newspapers to come after us, and it's just been a heavy aggression. A town like ours is a very traditional and very cultural-based town. We have a great Indian community, we have a great Hispanic community, Caucasian and African-American community, and we believe in cultural diversity. We believe in cultural awareness, and we believe in honoring in such a manner. But sometimes that rubs individuals the wrong way. I talked to the mayor about this pointedly, and I talked to the reporters about it, so you can call them. And I had this conversation and they denied it. But I think all of us, and I was born in Memphis, and if you're from Chicago, you really know this, 1 + 1 always equal 2. There isn't a such thing in this business that we're in, government, politics, as a coincidence. Nothing is coincidental. And when things happen, they happen for a reason. That doesn't shed a particular light on all reporters, because we have some good relationships out there. The police department, particularly, have enjoyed a great relationship with the television stations. Ride-alongs, sometimes it's been good to us, but we still narrow down to the Chicago Tribune. And I'm not talking about every reporter at the Tribune, because we've had beat reporters from the Tribune, from the mayor being sworn in, great articles written on our ministers here in the town, but we just have an issue, and I've spoken to them just as recently as an hour ago. We have an issue with just 2 investigative reporters, and what do investigative reporters do? They investigate, but they're not the bosses. They have editors that tell them, look for this, I don't care, get it done. And I'm going out on a limb, and I know I'm on cable saying this, but the truth is the truth. There is no such thing as a coincidence. And for those of you who believe in I don't want to sound like Trump and call it fake news, but those of you who believe in sensationalized news, you always have to fact find and do your research. And we teach our children, read between the lines. Just read between the lines, because there's a such phone number that you can dial, 708-210-5300, and hit number 6, that's the mayor's office. Most times, Mrs. Lewis answers that phone, and she spends time with every resident. She's very patient, doesn't rush you off the phone, and she addresses the issues, and if she can't, she gives the proper down to the mayor if necessary. And so we have to sometimes put away, this is not political season. But it appears for the last few years it's just been political season. And this should be about good government. And look, we're a municipal, and I'll close on this, because I'm taking too much time on this. In every municipality, and I've worked a lot, worked for a lot of people, a lot of elected officials, you're gonna have challenges. There's no such thing as 100% of anything. But when you do, people who pay the taxes in the city, pay these salaries, who hold us accountable, have a right to come to this forum, have a right to call, come up any day of the week to which this building is operating and is working, and ask the question. And I would just ask you, before you get into the gossip mill, at least clear the city by just calling the city and say, I was unsatisfied with their response. And then you move forward with your conversations, because this is your town. You deserve to talk to your neighbors and talk about what is going on and what is alleged to have been going on, but at least allow the city administration to be afforded us the opportunity to respond. And that concludes, I don't even have a report, but that concludes my
Just to, not really to add to what Mr. Howard said, but to direct some attention to the LINKS program. I'm a member of the South Suburban Chicago chapter of the LINKS, and we have been working with these young people in Washington and King schools for, this will be the 5th year. So we followed these kids from 2nd grade, and now they're going into 6th. And working with the children, I mean, things have been said about the mayor from A through Z. We've sat here listening to his character being disparaged, we've read it in the paper. But he takes time and he goes to those classrooms. And a lot of these kids come to school, they are getting the only meal that they'll have that they'll have of the day at school. They might go home. We've seen kids walking in the evening time when it's dark outside with nobody supervising them to get home, and things of that nature. So when we talk about what's important, I'm a member of the LINKS, I'm an attorney, a policeman, I'm a mom, I have a 6th grader. So my son is the same age as these kids that we deal with every day. So sometimes when we're gossiping, playing the dozens and sitting here talking about each other, I think sometimes we should maybe think about what's important. And I spend my personal time trying to give something back to somebody who might not otherwise see someone like me. So I would encourage all of you to just try to do something that's positive and The newspaper's not writing about these things, but these kids, we take them downtown, we take them to STEM programs, we spend time with them, they do athletic pursuits, we run urban gateways, they're teaching them theater, so they're getting an artistic outlet, and these are things that they wouldn't be exposed to otherwise. What'd you say? Mock trial, and we had a mock trial, and so when these kids interact with the police for the first time, it won't be a sad story where they won't know what to do. We are teaching them, and the deputy chiefs, all the way down to the patrolmen, they see the booking officers, they see the whole, we go to the police department, we show them that dirty basement that they don't want to go to, and they're able to interact with people who are people that they might have to deal with. If they're walking around after curfew and they interact with Officer J. Rowe, for example, they know him, he knows them by name, because he visits with them on a weekly basis. So there are good things going on here. I know everybody comes for the sexy information, but some of it is, 5th and 6th graders and talking about, Minecraft and whatever it is that they're interested in, and trying to lead kids in the right direction. So I just wanted to add that little tidbit, and the mayor is hands-on, he's there. He's at the school, he rolls up his sleeves, he's an educator, retired after 35 years, or you can ask pretty much anybody who grew up here or Dixmoor or basically anywhere, whether he reared them in the right direction. So, he's gonna have his credentials and he'll go on, whatever, but I think everybody should try to do something, and I would encourage all the members of the city council also to kind of participate in something that means something, because these kids they're going somewhere, they'll all be great, and they'll remember the interactions that they had. And I appreciate you, Mrs. Rattery, for always being there and supporting what we're trying to do. And so, yeah, that's my 2 cents. Appreciate you, Mayor, as always.
I want to say that the Tribune has 2 categories when you win the prize, and one is destroying something. So they attempted to destroy my name. They attempted to destroy the city. It didn't work. Because I keep telling everyone that if they didn't make it, they can't break it. So God made it. So every time that they try to come up with something negative, we find a way. Well, again, God puts his head, protection around us. And at the end of the day, my face is on that wall. I'm gonna tell my own story. Welfare to the mayor. I'm not letting anybody else tell my story. I'm telling mine. So all the negative nonsense that you heard, I'm not the boogeyman. I'm not a thief. I'm not none of this that you say I am. It's amazing because I was speaking engagement coming up in Kentucky, and they Googled me. I told them to Google me. So they Googled me, and they called me up and said, "Wow, we saw your credentials. There's something that's not right here." I said, "Well, no. First of all, this is what their perception is." So again, they tried to really just assassinate my character. They couldn't do it physically, so they assassinated my character. But we're on the road to recovery and revitalization, and all those things that you heard, and all those evil imps that were working with us. I guarantee you, as God is my witness, I'm gonna leave that alone. You got some business to get done. This time we move to ordinances and resolutions for the city of Harlem. Tonight we have resolution 2820. It's a resolution authorizing the city of Harlem home community to extend class A property tax abatement for the property located at 165 02 Austin. This is the second reading. What's the pleasure of the council?
Motion to approve resolution 2820.
This one.
Yeah.
I second.
Motion on the floor, move second, roll call.
Alderwoman Lewinsky.
Yes.
Alderman Whittington.
Yes.
Alderman Clark.
Aye.
Alderman King. Alderman Nesbitt. Alderman Price.
I have one question before my vote. So did they complete the bathroom or why not?
Well, the bathroom is still going, but he does need the funds, but that will be removed.
All right.
As far as the 36 West property is concerned, the property address many of the issues that I had, immediately removing the common issue, but also dealing with some of the others that.
That's the one that had the old, like 50-some cars sitting out there parked forever, the old car sitting
No,
out
that was 165 too.
That was the one on House.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah,
you went
I
to
have
vote
this-
that day?
Yeah, I have this planogram here, so I will keep this to make sure.
Pleasure to come.
This is
Oh, okay.
passed.
Okay.
This passed.
Resolution 2823, resolution authorizing City of Harvey Homewood Community to transfer the property located 163-64 Halsted. This is the first reading. What's the pleasure of the council?
I make a motion to suspend the rules.
Motion on the floor.
Second.
Move to second, roll call.
Alderwoman Lewinsky.
No,
For a house?
no, to suspend the rules.
Alderman Whittington. Alderman Clark.
Aye.
Alderman Key.
Aye.
And Alderman Nesbit.
Aye.
And Alderman Price.
Yes.
Rules suspended.
I make a motion that we accept resolution 2823.
I second.
Move to second, roll call.
Alderwoman Lewinsky.
Yes.
Alderman Whittington.
Yes.
Alderman Clark.
Aye.
Alderman Key.
Yes.
Alderman Nesbit.
Aye.
And Alderman Price.
Aye.
Motion carried.
This time we move to resolution 2824, resolution authorizing City of Harvey Homewood Community to transfer the property located at 6 West 154th Street. This is the first reading. What's the pleasure of the council?
I make a motion to suspend the rules.
Motion on the floor.
I'll second.
Move to second, roll call.
Alderwoman Lewinsky.
To suspend the rules, no.
Alderman Whittington.
Yes.
Alderman Clark.
Aye.
Alderman Key.
Yes.
Alderman Nesbit.
Aye.
And Alderman Price.
Aye.
Rules suspended.
I make a motion to accept resolution 2824.
Second.
Roll call.
Alderwoman Lewinsky.
Yes.
Alderman Whittington.
Yes.
Alderman Clark.
Aye.
Alderman Key.
Yes.
Alderman Nesbit.
Aye.
And Alderman Price.
Aye.
Motion carried.
This time we move to resolution 2825.
I make a motion to suspend the rules
Motion
for
on the floor.
resolution 2825.
Motion on the floor. Move to second, roll call.
For suspending the rules, Alderwoman Lewinsky.
No.
Alderman Whittington.
Yes.
Alderman Clark.
Aye.
Alderman Key.
Yes.
Alderman Nesbit.
Aye.
And Alderman Price.
Aye. I make a motion to accept resolution 2825.
Second.
Okay,
Roll call.
Alderwoman Lewinsky.
No.
Alderman Whittington.
No.
Alderman Clark.
Nay.
Alderman Key.
Yes.
Alderman Nesbit.
Aye.
Alderman Price.
Yes.
Rules suspended.
No, that's why accept, you gotta call the mayor. It's a tie.
Wait a minute. Oh, this is for the passing, yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Mayor Kellogg?
Yes.
Okay, motion
Make a
carried.
motion for resolution 2026. Chair recognizes Alderman Henry.
Thank you. I had brought before this council to the PDC a couple of years ago. There's a piece of property that's been here a long time, about 20 years. God Run Sugar. It's a daycare center for children. It's right on the tip of Gardner.
Okay.
And they have came before this council to purchase, to move that building that's up the mountain at barbecue. They wanted to expand an additional part to their building. They wanted to build or put a fence around it. they wanted to beautify it, and they wanted to have games for the kids that attend this daycare center. On our sheet here, we had, there's 2 lots, but it's actually 3. There's a lot in the back that they tried to purchase from the owner that has deceased. My point is this, Mr. Mayor. Unfortunately, Alderman Bourne was the chairman, and he's not here, so I know that Alderman Price was the chairman, didn't know that they wanted to do something great with that corner. And besides that, there's a abandoned house there, but my issue is that I'm asking that, I know it's gonna be a convenience store there. That the proprietor wanted to buy it. But the business there has been a long business with us, and they're willing to take that whole lot, 3 lots, and develop it. So I had to bring it to the council and ask them about this dilemma.
Let me just say, and certainly I understand that you're saying that it appears to be a concern now. But I guess my concern is that it hasn't been an emergency or urgency for 2 years. And we cannot stand in the way of something that's ready to go right now. I would, if in fact there was no concern, then it should have been disseminated to the chairman, Alderman Price, and he would put it on the agenda. There would have been some deliberation and some conversation communicated relative to that process. However, and I don't have to vote at this time, Mrs. Satai.
Can I say one more question?
Yes, sir.
I don't know what happened, but she did come here three times before the EDC and brought her ideas here. And I don't know how we got caught up in it. She didn't get no response at the time. I don't know what happened. So that's what I'm at.
Alderman Price.
I had the privilege to speak to Alderman Whittington today, Alderman Whittington today. And he told me that it did come in front of EDC. He said approximately 3 years ago when Mike Barnes was the head of it. I had no knowledge of that at all. And we had 2 years of, I don't know, I guess we officially called it an impasse. But I just told him that I had no knowledge of anybody else wanting that. I was never informed of it when it did go in front of the other EDC. And I was telling him that I wanted to be very careful with looking like we stop somebody who agreed to purchase some property and then pull other people back in. I would be willing to work with that daycare on, if possible, that vacant house right behind that daycare that's unoccupied. If there's anything we can do, you said it's also a lot behind the daycare.
Yeah, that's a lot behind.
What did not show up on the computer is the lot behind the daycare having anything to do with that corner. If there's any way that we can work with that daycare and make sure they get that lot in the rear, and if that house is in disrepair, you know, I'd be more than willing to put them on the agenda and put those children on the back of that instead of towards the main front street for safety purposes of them being by a front street with a play area. So I would definitely work with them. I would love to see them have more room. But I do not want to start this, okay, this man agreed to a certain price. He went through the process, and we bring it to the agenda, to the council, and then all of a sudden we pull something, a rug from under him and say, okay, we're gonna give it to this person. So I spoke to him earlier about that, but I'm definitely willing to work with them on that lot in the back.
I guess I'm kind of confused. Was the economic development committee posted?
Everything was posted.
Did Alderman Whitaker, you know?
We also did not have a meeting before because it was not posted on time. And I told Mr. Winsky it was not posted on time, I'm not having that meeting. So we moved it back further. And as I told Mr. Winsky, I'm trying to keep everything for the board, keep everybody notified. And that's all my intents are.
And I honor that. I just said that if we could in the future, something that the board just invite us to, if it's something that I may have a feeling on, I would gladly share it with, the son.
It was posted.
I don't know, not you, I'm just saying.
Matter of fact,
I didn't know it was.
the first stopped in, everybody basically stopped in. So,
He was out of town.
I mean, we will make sure anytime an EDC meeting is coming, that everybody is notified. I assure Mr. Winsky of that. And like I said, I'm not trying to hide anything from anyone, I'm just trying to occupy vacant property and get them back on the tax roll because many people may or may not know, one of our biggest problems in Harvey is not collecting taxes. And that's hurting us a lot, so take the advice of a financial specialist. Mr. Williams said it's important to get them on the tax roll. It's not important to sell them for a lot of money out the door. It's important to sell them, get them back on the tax roll, and start collecting their tax money.
Okay, just to conclude, the piece of property that we're talking about that's abandoned, behind it, it's, where that mall is, that's the alley that, the late Mayor grazed. They put an alley in there, but they didn't have no sewer there. So it floods. So that's 15902.
Okay.
I'm asking and encouraging the department heads to look at that business that's an African-American woman who's been here for quite some time, almost 20 years. I'm just surprised it just got like that. They lost it. So if you talk to them. Okay, that's it. That's enough.
I make a motion to suspend the rules on resolution 2826.
Move the second roll call.
Alderwoman Lewinsky,
To suspend the rules, no.
Alderman Whittington,
No.
Alderman Clark,
Nay.
Alderman Key,
Yes.
Alderman Nesbitt,
Aye.
Alderman Price,
Yes.
Mayor Kellogg.
Yes.
Make a motion to accept 2826, and the gentleman that will purchase this has been aware of, certain things the city will not allow, like a drive-through. All of this is to be in the redevelopment agreement. Also, I personally do not want it to be a 24-hour spot, so I don't know how the rest of the council feel, but these are things that need to be in, these are things that need to be in the redevelopment agreement. So I make a motion to accept resolution 2826.
Motion on the floor.
Second.
Move the second roll call.
Alderwoman Lewinsky,
No.
Alderman Whittington,
No.
Alderman Clark,
Nay.
Alderman Nesbitt, Alderman Key,
Yes.
Alderman Nesbitt,
Aye.
Alderman Price,
Yes.
and I got a call on the tax,
Yes.
Mayor Kellogg.
Yes. Need a motion for resolution 2027.
Oh, okay, I make a motion to suspend the rules for resolution 2827.
Second.
Move the second roll call.
Alderwoman Lewinsky,
Suspend the rules, no.
Alderman Whittington,
Yes.
Alderman Clark,
Aye.
you say aye?
Aye, yes.
Alderman Key,
Yes.
Alderman Nesbitt,
Aye.
and Alderman Price.
Yes.
Rules suspended.
Motion to accept resolution 28-27.
Second.
Please take a roll call.
Alderwoman Lewinsky.
Yes.
Alderman Whittington.
Oh, yes.
Alderman Clark.
Aye.
Alderman Key.
Yes.
Alderman Nesbitt.
Aye.
And Alderman Price.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Need a motion for resolution 2828, Mr. President, Council.
I motion to table, resolution
Motion to
2828.
accept 28-28.
Second table.
Just as, an FYI, regardless how this vote goes, in the packet, all we got was resolution 2828. There was no pertinent information attached to it, so therefore, I had the opportunity to speak with Mr. Price, today a little bit about it. I'm sorry, what?
No, I'm talking.
Oh, I'm sorry. But there was nothing attached to this, no planogram like the other ones had, so that is why I motioned to table.
Okay. And I don't need a second on the table.
Oh, okay, well, then we let-
We did that. Is Mr. Smith here? Yes, I am. Yes, sir. Okay, this is Mr. Smith who wanted to purchase that property. We had another person who wanted to purchase the property at first. We named the price, the man got up and walked out, didn't even try to negotiate. He was contacted again, to let him know that that property would be back on the agenda. At that time, Mr. Smith was added to the EDC agenda. Mr. Smith came in. My understanding is Mr. Smith has a semi-truck, marine, dealing with boats, and he repairs and restores all the boats. Asked a couple people at the docks, did they know him? People say, yeah, a lot of people take the boats to him. What occurred, and I explained all this to you
Sure.
earlier, I'm just letting everybody else get to understand. What occurred was, he was renting a property with, aspirations of purchasing it on 100, I think that was 50th and Halsted. So after paying rent, the owners were not paying the taxes. So, long story short, it ended up in court. He had a certain time in which he had to be out. He saw the property was perfect for him. He came in actually that day, said he had a check for the amount that we asked for. We told him that's not how the process works. But I understand what Mr. Lewinsky was saying, but it was also an urgency and time in which this gentleman needed to be out of that building. If you look at the property now, you'll see a lot of boats out. He's pulling everything out of the building because they have to be gone. So I would ask this board to just definitely reconsider on the table because of the urgency of having this business. Number one, has been vacant. Number two, he came with the price that other people just got up and walked out on. And I mean, I think it's great to have somebody repairing semi-trucks and mainly marine equipment. This gentleman has done work for seniors at very discounted rates just to help them out in Harvey. He has taken his time. I've personally seen him over the years with the children that's on Washington Street, teaching them how to change their tires on their bikes, teaching them how to fix their bikes. And if they were interested, he was even starting to show them how to work on cars and boats, which can be a very big asset, I think, to all of us. Mr. Howard, you'd like to add? Is there anything else?
Excuse me, but just for the record, there is no exhibit B, so we do not have the documentation. That's all I want to say. It's nothing personal, Mr. Smith. I would like to talk to you, about the boats. But actually, it was not the paperwork on our end.
Mr. Howard.
Mr. Mayor, also along the Cal side, and all the harbor associations, Mr. Smith brings Harvey youth there, and they jet ski through the water with their parents' permission. He does it out of pocket. Many of our youth, I just purchased a boat, but I know for years that many of our youth have never had access to a boat. And they've gone there 150 miles with their parents' permission. He's taken them along the Cal Sac as the Forest Preserve. He's put them on boats with their parents, chaperone, and he's done a marvelous job at cost. He's a minister, outstanding man of God. And many of our seniors, a few of them are in here, have had repairs on their cars where they couldn't pay, and he didn't charge. And he's been like the unsung hero throughout the community, so I just wanted to add that.
What I would like is if we could reconsider the vote with the stipulations of having the paperwork to you all by the next meeting at least. I don't know. It's just, if you all want to wait till the next meeting, then that is what it is.
I just want to add that,
But it is a time.
I think it's a timeline associated with it, and I think that, basically, if we wait 2 weeks, it's basically our business, I believe. It certainly, seems like council should be, and plus that building on 159th has been vacant for over, what, 15, 20 years. Now we have an opportunity to move someone in there. We can put, contingencies and stipulations in place, but I think that we, should reconsider. Because what is 2 weeks gonna do except put an additional hardship on the African American? I don't know too many African American men that work on boats. To be honest with you, I don't know.
Well,
And also
Mayor,
prevention is working out here. And I didn't take it, so I'm not going to withdraw because I didn't take it. However, we're in a situation where Alderman Drewinski is saying that City Hall, proper paperwork should exist in this building. No one has gone to retrieve said paperwork, so we're stuck with not having paperwork. I applaud Smith for all the things that he's done in the community, but this is not a reflection on him and his character. This is a reflection on paperwork, which Alderman Drewinski brought up. That's it.
Well, let me just add.
win-win solution.
Well, let me just add that even though paperwork is not in it,
But she got a win-win solution.
we can say we can pass it with stipulations.
Well, what we could do, since it is city property, and we had leased out property in the past that was city property, why can't we lease until the next 2 weeks the property to Mr. Smith on behalf of the city, because we had done that in the past, and that would aid him, and then give the opportunity for the alderman to review and gather the paperwork. It's a win-win situation.
Is that city-owned property?
Well, yeah, we're selling it.
Let me just say this.
We're selling it, so it is ours.
Let me just say this. Alderwoman Lewinsky has brought up a scenario where we would rent the property for 2 weeks until the next meeting. I'm sure that, I don't know what your financial status is in terms of if you're dealing with banks or whatever you're dealing with, but I'm sure that there has to be some timeline associated with this process. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Well, Mr. Price said that he came in with the check. So leasing it, even if you lease it for $1, whatever the case may be, until we can get the actual paperwork. Let's just do it right, like Alderman Price said. He did a phenomenal job in the EDC meetings. We went through, Alderman Keys, myself, Alderman Price, he had the video. We went to go look at these sites. We actually put a price on it substantially lower than what it is. But as it stands right now, sir, no disrespect, but we have no idea what this building is selling for. I know at one point, there was a discussion in our committee for $50,000. Then it was discussed at $20,000. And then I was told a different amount today. And then I was told another bid came in. So as far as altering my decision, Mr. Mayor, I am sorry. Mr. Smith, I am sorry. I think the city can lease him the building, lease him the property. We have done that in the past. And it would be a win-win to give you opportunities to relocate your establishment, because we do want your business. I think it's a wonderful. Unfortunately, I do believe, the first ward on 159th and in Homestead, through that vicinity, we have a lot of mechanic shops. We have another one coming up that was just approved tonight. So with yours, that would have been 2 more. We had, I believe, 7 already in that small radius. So there is gonna be a lot of in-house competition. So there are some variables. But I do like the fact that you have it with the boats, and I do like the semis, and I definitely appreciate your commitment to the residents of the city of Harvey. But unfortunately, I do not have that paperwork in front of me.
What I want to point out to not only the mayor and my colleagues, but the residents as well is there are car repair shops around the area. That's true. But we have no one that works on boats.
Right? I know.
We have no one that, well, I'm sure somewhere in Harvey they're working on semis somewhere. But okay, when we talk cars, his main focus is cars. His main focus is our boats, jet skis, things like that, and semis. I'm sure he will have some cars. But with, you were at the meeting, we threw a price out at one guy, and this got up and walked out.
Yes, he did.
Wouldn't even negotiate.
He did.
And sometimes things happen for a reason. This is a man that's in Harvey. I don't know much about him, but what I've asked a couple of voters about him, and what I've seen. I just don't want to lose something like that, that not only will offer a service that's not offered. I think other places, marine spots like over there on Cicero somewhere like 105th or whatever.
Mr. Price, no one's arguing with you.
No, I'm not saying.
We just don't have the paperwork in front of us.
All I'm saying is we can approve it pending the proper paperwork, and if that proper paperwork is not submitted, we can always take it. It's not, the point, one thing that I did learn was it's more important to get these properties back on the tax roll. And I had a problem with, you know, I came in and I was like, hey, we're gonna get this money for these properties, we deserve it.
And I respect that.
But this building with 4 pins actually balloons up to like 20,000 plus annually. I mean, that's more money coming in plus money on the front end, and he has to repair it. We all know if it's not done in a year,
The
it can be
city
taken.
could, the city could lease it for $1,
I mean, well,
and that just secures that position.
Where's Exhibit
we're
B?
fine with that.
Right.
The issue is Exhibit B.
Me.
Right, we're
Where
fine with
is
that.
Exhibit B?
I can't tell you where it is.
I would just like to
My
say
back was
right
just like
now,
yours.
I did
But I'm
not
okay.
receive the paperwork with this particular, resolution. So I don't have any paperwork to give you in a tax matter. Otherwise, I would have, had it with the resolution.
I mean, I'm fine, I'm totally fine with leasing it, I have no problem with that. I just wanna, I know this is not a business that I personally would like to be part of, and it's definitely some time.
Once we get the paperwork.
So let me ask you all,
Yeah, and I have no problem with that.
you willing to, with a stipulation, change the motion?
No, sir.
You just want to, lease?
For 2 weeks, to lease it, I see no problem with that.
So by the next, I said election.
Hopefully not, right?
By the next council meeting.
Yes.
We have this exhibit B paperwork, be reviewed, sent to everybody, we are ready to roll.
So,
If I need to special, because it became absolutely necessary, I'd special it for 5 minutes. I mean,
Right, I mean,
come
yeah.
in and make the vote real quick. and go
Right,
home, if
that's
the
another
case.
solution.
but the key is, if in fact, we're gonna, city gonna become the landlord, it's something that has to be set up with, Reverend Russell so that we can get it fast tracked, so we can get started until, first thing in the morning. All right, we see, Pastor Lester in the morning.
Yes, sir. So we table it pending special meeting on next meeting.
Well,
That's fine.
Well, my understanding was that we're gonna release it for 2 weeks, and then 2 weeks we come back, we have everything in order, he'll release it for 2 weeks, come back at the next city council meeting, and we'll back.
Well, they both, yeah, they said as long as there's the paperwork, they'll be willing to come in for a special meeting. That's right.
But it's 2 weeks. 2 weeks is fine.
Well, as long as he's releasing it, it'll be fine. Just let him move in and lock it up and move it.
Yeah, it gives them an opportunity, it's a win-win situation.
So you're tabling it to the next
Yeah,
council
but he
meeting?
has an opportunity to move.
She said she didn't care if it was for $1.
I don't know, you know.
Because he's finna purchase it anyway.
Right, so
Okay,
it doesn't matter, but I mean, there has to be some money transferred to keep it for the insurance purposes.
Okay, I need, like, what is your motion to?
Table.
To table.
The administrative end is gonna be dealt with tomorrow with, Reverend
Yes,
Russell.
that's it, thank you.
All right, this time we need a motion for resolution 4828.
I'll make a motion to leave it as the first reading. Wait, that was 28.
Yeah, that was on it.
2829. 2829.
I'm motion to leave it as the first reading, so a couple people had some questions and stuff.
We'll leave that as first reading.
Yeah.
Now, would this go to committee? Or is this, see, that's where I'm getting confused. And
Well, there's been a lot of questions, so that's why I wanted
Yeah,
to table
it should go to
Leave it out
committee.
open and see what it is. Well, we know what it is.
We know what it is. And we know that
Why did this go?
Is there any timeline associated with it?
yeah, right,
Any
right.
timeline?
It went to,
What's it?
where did it go?
It
It went somewhere with a 2-2 tie.
Oh, it went to the commission.
Planning and zoning.
EDC.
Right, so it should go from planning to zoning to the EDC. So it shouldn't even be on the
As you
agenda
know,
right
this
now.
is my first time.
I know, right, and we,
I cannot say if that's
Yeah.
proper, I don't know for sure.
Ask our old wise one sitting over there, Alderman, Dr. Dale. Is that how it's supposed to go?
Can I ask you a question?
No, it's from the zoning planning commission, the EDC? Sometimes.
Not necessary, but let me ask you a question. It doesn't necessarily have to go.
Right.
It doesn't, it can go from zoning, planning, straight to city council.
Yes.
We have to avoid the bureaucracy, you know, so my question is, if in fact there's some concern relative to 2829, just like any business, this is a business. We can't get in and start discriminating against any business. You know, I think we learned that years ago. So I'm cautioning the council, excuse me, I'm cautioning the council in terms of being discriminatory against any business in the city of Harvard, because again, we tried, we went down the road and we lost. Amazing.
It's not a first reading, we left it at the first reading, at least when, there hasn't been any discrimination, we just followed the procedure.
Well, the procedures could be, rules could be suspended.
Would you like for us to suspend the rule?
I mean, if I was an alderman, I would like that. Absolutely.
Anyway, okay. Well, you already got a motion, you want to withdraw your motion to first reading?
I don't really know. It seems like it's a political football game.
The man asked.
He's not an alderman right now. He's saying. What do you want to do,
I'm trying to be cordial, you know.
You're gonna have to deal with the
I got a motion to leave with the first reading and come back as the second. I got a second. I'm not gonna argue this.
Can I ask a question? Is there any timeline associated with this particular business?
I personally don't know.
Anyone know? Will 2 weeks be, having adverse effect on the business, or is there? So, well, 2 weeks, we said. Come back, all right. This time we move to, citizen communication. There's 3 items. Second roll call.
By Anderson vote, Alderman Lewinsky,
Yes.
Alderman Whittington,
Yes.
Alderman Clark, Alderman King, Alderman Bassett, and Alderman Price. Thank you very much, Alderman Chair.
This time we move to reports by the Alderman, starting with the Alderman of the First Ward.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, everyone. I do have a question for, oh, no, that's quite all right. Mr. Williams, a quick question. A couple of employees left me a message. They wanted to find out about the demo. Is that all taken care of? Demo's all taken care of? Okay, wonderful. The first ward is going to host a youth ward meeting, and that is going to be on August 11th. It's a free pizza party for 13 to 19-year-olds. And let's see, we're going to have a ward meeting on August 9th, and that's the tax appeal, the Cook County tax appeal. And I wrote some notes here. Mr. Mayor, last week we talked about, 2 weeks ago, God, these days are going by fast. 2 weeks ago, we talked about the ward literature, the garage sales, the inundated flyers. I'm still inundated with pink and yellow and blue flyers.
Well, you know, Harvard's 6.2 square miles.
I agree.
And we have a limited crew. However, the second rule is mainly because we did put it forth a task force to address the concern.
Mayor and Alderman Lewinsky, we go out every Monday morning through the main thoroughfares, and we go through the ward. So I don't know where the signs you're seeing, but if you could let me know. Okay, because every Monday morning we have a crew of 2 trucks that go out through the main thoroughfares and then through the heart of each ward looking for these signs. And that's been, I mean, we got to go.
Inundated through the whole St. John's area, Kamlowski's area.
Okay,
Yeah,
I mean, because I can show you all the signs because they're in the truck. We've kept them for, right. So we've kept every sign. No, I know, but I mean, if you're saying we visited you, then that's, just give me where they're at and we'll pick them up.
Sure, okay, and I'm glad, Deputy Thomas talked about the prosecution ring and the prostitute ring and the Johns, because I am in agreement with the people said, well, what about the Johns? I mean, we talk about the media puts them in the papers, and I think that is something very important. But I do respect what you had said, it's an ongoing investigation, so I'm sure. I'm sorry, what? Also, for those of you who recall Tommy Dreesen will be playing at South Suburban College on September 23rd, so he is coming into town. Tommy Dreesen, he will be, I believe the tickets are like $30 to see him. I want to compliment Mr. Price in regards to the way he handled the Economic Development Committee. I think it was very informative. This was the first meeting in my 7 years that I've ever attended as far as a committee meeting, and so I thought it was very enlightening. It was wonderful on how we had Alderman Keys, myself, Mr. Price, and we were all learning together. So it was a new role. So I thought it was very informative, and I hope you gentlemen felt the same way. So I thought that was really good. And I believe that ends my report. Have a wonderful day. If I can be of any service for you, my phone number is area code 708-596-7470. And even though if you're not a First Ward resident, but you would like to attend, I realize the city had one last week, but if you missed the opportunity to have your property reassessed, you are more than welcome to attend ours at St. John's, and that address is 15801 Emerald Avenue. And that is gonna be at 6 o'clock on August 9th. Thank you.
I just asked that, if you could, at your meetings, if in fact you find it in your heart to, address some of that misinformation over the last 2 years that have been, disseminated to the First Ward, at ward meetings.
What was the,
I mean, just a lot of misinformation.
well, actually, if it was at the ward meetings,
Yeah.
I was the one delivering it.
I know.
So I don't understand. I can tell you what, Mr. Mayor, I can give you my PowerPoint presentation.
Okay.
And you allow me to show it here as you show your PowerPoint presentation, and you can point out what am I saying that is not true.
I can bring in some residents that have some issues, but we don't need to go there.
No, you went there.
I'm trying to be in the spirit of cooperation. I'm just
saying, I am
in the future.
speaking,
In the future.
I am speaking everything that I say, I have the actual city documents.
All right. Thank you for your report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Alderman Winning.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, to my colleagues, and to the citizens of this wonderful city, of Illinois. My comments will be brief. I just had one resident that, she had the back in May, she had in front of her house, it was vacant house. It was cut.
Okay.
Then, Mrs. Jane Lewis sent a crew over there to cut back. And they cut half of it. And the resident is just, they cut half of it and they had to go someplace. She just asking me, to let you know if I can talk to someone to go back and finish what they're doing. I'll give it to you outside.
All right.
Outside of that, I did, I take all of my complaints from my residents, and I put them on the automatic form, request form. I write it up as they see it, and I turn it in to Ms. Trina Lewis.
Okay.
I also called her, thanking her for the vendors that she picked.
Okay.
They did a marvelous job on Turtleton. I immediately, as the vendors were cutting the grass, the residents that live over there called me up and said they did an outstanding job. So I normally don't try to call anybody.
Okay.
I just do what I have to do. I write it up and give it to Mrs. Trina Lewis, and she's doing a magnificent job of dispersing it to the street department. And I commend her for that, and I did tell her that.
Thank you so much.
So I want to, that ends my report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you so much, Alderman Winning. It's time to move to Alderman Clark.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, colleagues, residents and audience, residents of the Third Ward specifically. Thank you so much for allowing me once again to be here. I'm going to try to be brief as well. I always do a lot of writing, but then after I read my writing, I'm like, well, maybe I should just hold some of that stuff off because we'd be here for the next 24 hours. I'm sure no one wants that. I'd like to thank Streets and Sanitation specifically for the work that they have been doing. I understand that on one hand, it's been raining a lot, people. So everybody knows that. Sometimes, even myself, we don't consider it. And so when it comes to issues as far as streets and sanitation are concerned, we sometimes forget just something as simple as it's been raining. So when the grass isn't cut, at times it's because it's been raining. And I can definitely attest that I'm a grass nut. And I love cutting grass, and I can't even get out there and do my own as often as I would like to do because of this rain. But Streets and Sanitation has been making an effort to do so. What I would like to see, Mr. Mayor, if possible, those dump sites still need to be addressed. And I provided some before, I'll provide them again, just in case, maybe the misplaced or people just plain and simply forgot. But those sites need to be addressed. We have so much dumping, of course, that we know throughout the city. But now it gets to the point, besides the fact that some of them start to smell, they're starting to create rodents and also insects as well. So hopefully we can get onto that. And of course, congratulations on the purchase of the 2 new tractors, bush hogs, because the residents of the 3rd Ward would really like to see that first use there. So if you got any experimentation that you want to do or anything like that, more than welcome to come to the 3rd Ward and do it. I just wanted to address something that someone said previously, and that this should be about good government. And good government sometimes gets a little ugly. When this country was founded, it was founded and established based on war. And war is never pretty. And every year we recognize veterans who are veterans of foreign wars, and they can tell you that war is never pretty. Good government is sometimes never pretty. But the simple fact is you go through it because you have to go through something to get to something. And I do want to say that at least thus far, the way that this council is conducting itself, and I might do not and still do not agree with everything that's being done. But I will say that the way that this council has conducted itself thus far over the past, what was it, month and a half, almost 2 months, something like that, has been a far cry different from what it was previously. But I want people to understand that going through in itself was a necessity to get us to where we are today. At least that's my opinion. But good government is for the people, by the people, and it's of the people. And when people participate in their government, like those of you who are sitting here today, and possibly those who will be watching at some point in time, it's important that we encourage those people. And that we make it known that those are the true patriots of our democracy. We had a situation with the water bill and a court date. And there were several members of our community that went to every single court date. They were downtown. There were several members of our community who were not able to make every single court date, but they were able to make some of those court dates. And whether this administration agrees or disagrees, those people should be commended just like the people who sit in here, just like other people that we know. Because the simple fact is, they took the time to participate in their government. For better, for worse, for right or wrong, whether you agree or you don't agree. They took the time to participate in our government. One of the slogans that I used when I used to do my weekly addresses was unity begins with you. And so when people come out and people become active participants in the government, it creates clarity for all of us. And so what I want to do with my little remaining time is to just thank those that do participate. Don't ever give up hope that we can be the change that we wish to see in the world. This is a phenomenal community. Like I said, democracy is sometimes an ugly thing, but we get there. But it's up to each and every last one of us, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on Instagram, whether it's here in this building, whether it's out in the streets, to participate in our democracy. That is the only true way that Harvey's going to change. And I just wanted to bring it up, Mr. Mayor, because I don't want those people who went to the court dates to feel as if they were doing something wrong, or that they were working with the opposition because they decided to exercise their God-given right to participate in the government. Those people should be commended. And like I said, my office specifically wants to thank them. If anyone needs to contact me, 15705 Page Avenue. I'll say it again, 15705 Page Avenue. The only admittance fee to that home is you must bring tea. You did not bring gray, Earl Grey, or anything, just plain old lemon tea. Okay? But that's basically it. If you need to get me directly and get me physically, that's where I am. Every day. You want to call me, 708-491-5259, 708-491-5259. That number is also a cell number, so you can text that number as well. If you use the internet, you can contact me at aldermanclark@gmail.com, or you can go to aldermanclark.com. That's www.aldermanclark.com. Sign up there, and you can contact me that way. I really appreciate, like I said, everything we're doing. I appreciate specifically my brother over here, Alderman Nesbitt, and for what he's doing with the Finance Committee, Alderman Price for what he's doing with the Economic Development Committee. I think it's a really good thing. I can't wait to have a general service meeting, because if it's conducted and it's done the way that it has been done so far, I'm looking forward to some really good things. Mr. Mayor, that is my report.
That's the beauty of America. I'm not being after war, because I saw in Vietnam, so many of the men that I knew, devastation of war. So I prefer peace over war. And I understand that, these groups be self-evident, oh man, I create equal in line like that, but we won't even go into all that. But again, I like peace instead of war. So, but those followers, I don't know who they are. I'm glad that, that they're here in attendance. That's something here. I'm looking right at one. I follow this internet very closely. He's an educated thought. I follow him very closely. I follow his lives too. But with that said, I'm gonna move to Alderman
I just want to say thanks for everybody coming out today. The participation is very valuable to this process. That being said, I'd like to thank Alderman Lewinsky and Keith, working together on a plan where we can go out and see these properties and give our estimates, and we all use our wisdom and everything. This is the first time this was done. I think that's something that has to continue. Should never stop. Just one quick point. Like I said, President Trump, he won this election, without our vote. We're a democratic state. So that doesn't, that means that he necessarily doesn't have to even reach out for us. I just wanted it to really be a point that this is why we really need to work together. Because like I said, we're a democratic state, and we need to come together and show that we all can work together under all the circumstances and keep our city, keep our state, and keep focused and not fall in to what everybody else is doing, in this world, because, it's changing a lot out there, and I just pray for the youth. And I like to give the mayor credit, for everything he's done first, giving the opportunity to represent the city. And another point, I've never met a black person at any high-profile level, Afro-American.
Give me a piece of my mind, but I was raised black. I don't need nobody to tell me that. I'm just saying, one thing I don't like, I don't like disrespect, but I'm accepter of who she is. I'm sorry, excuse me. No. Not Keith. Oh, they got around here. Yeah, okay, I see how it goes. You know.
And like I said,
Okay.
can I finish? Or
Yes, please.
What I was saying was that, I never met any Afro-American in a high-profile position that didn't go through any scrutiny. So, most of the people in here should be old enough to know whenever a man is in the power or the position it is, it's gonna be stuff made up about you. You know, whatever position you are. So I don't know why people are so surprised when they hear this. I mean, people have talked about everybody in this room been talked about before.
That's right.
And most of the time they came when you was trying to do something right. You know?
You're right.
So with that being said, I commend you for what you do there. Keep up the good work. Hang on in there.
Yes, sir.
You're a lot stronger than I am. And I want to thank the street department for the effort that they came in and really helped me out in the fourth ward. I mean, the ward is really looking good. I know we probably haven't got every single spot, but I think we got a strong hold on at least 80% of it. You know, I just want to thank Rick and the street department, for their valiant effort and the time that they put in and their dedication. And now that we're moving ahead, we got more equipment. I purchased some equipment myself with the street department. Can't make it to every lot. I can just go out myself and keep it maintained 90-side level, and I think that's a pretty decent plan. And I want to thank some of the people that's, in the city. I was out cutting some bushes one day, and my neighbors, they basically just sit outside all day and drink. And when all the alcohol is gone, it's an argument. And so I was out there trimming the bushes, and I guess he saw me sweating a little bit in the sun getting the bushes, and I turned around, and like all 5 of them, walked up and started helping. I thought that was really, they didn't ask me for nothing, even though I did buy them some beer afterwards. They came out and helped because, where I come from, you don't want to be the last person on the block that don't have your grass cut. That's how I was raised. If I see them neighbors cutting their grass, I gotta cut mine. And people follow suit. So it's a lot of concerned people, and even on 210 West 150th place, Mrs. Powell, was a vacant lot, and the street department had already went over and did the major cut over it, like last month sometime, but the grass had got a little high. Fortunately, I had a little tractor myself, and I rode over there on my little tractor, like 5 miles an hour, cut the grass, knocked it out, and everybody in the whole block, I saw people out sweeping, picking up paper, and asking, do I want water, do I need anything? There's some great people in Harvest. I rely on these veterans to help us the most to rebuild our city, because every time I get a complaint, it's mostly like a senior citizen, somebody that's been out here for a while. And all they ever talk about is how Harvey used to be, and how they want to keep it that way. One of our biggest issues is that we have way too many people renting Harvey. And when somebody just rent a place, I'm not saying all of them don't care, but most of them, if the landlord don't do it, they're not going to do it. They're not from here. They didn't live here, grew up here. So I look for my veterans of the city to help, showing that positive message, to the people that are just here ready. And we need to keep a lock on it. We need to keep a lock on it. Everybody that's coming into our town, some way to get them into these meetings, or some way for them to keep tradition, because, I come from a block, we got tradition. So, I want to thank Mr. Luster for being the big bro I never had. Everything you do, is very monumental to me, and I thank you so much. And I'd like to thank Ms. Lewis for being my mentor. She's been teaching me a lot, about the city, and how the city runs and how it operates. She didn't hesitate to answer any questions, for me. She still gets on me too, like I still work for her. And last but not least, I'd like to thank Ms. Bonnie Blackwing. We had an issue, Washington School is located exactly right across the street from my house on 151st in Winchester, Lincoln. They closed the school down. I really didn't understand, but I know how these things go. It's a lot of consolidating and everything, but they built a nice park there. And all of a sudden, they just locked the gate up there. And the kids weren't able to come to the park anymore. So there was an incident where this young boy that lived across the street, he was trying to climb the gate with his other friends to get in the park. And once he got up to the top of the gate, he got scared because he looked down and he was scared, and one of the neighbors had to come and get him from down the gate. And so, to me, that was like causing like a hazard. They'd come in, they'd be shaking the gate, trying to break in the gate, because there's a park sitting right there. What kid is not gonna want to go in there? So it's like either move the park or let the kids play. And I talked to Barney Bradley, the next day, she came by and I met with the superintendent. He gave me a key, and me and my neighbor, we gonna police the park. We're gonna let them in the daytime when the sun go down. We lock the park up. Matter of fact, I gotta lock it up now. Thank you, Barney.
Once again, Mayor, Frank, I'm thanking the links.
Right.
I'm also thanking the alderman.
There you go.
Who is right beside our school and is going above and beyond in doing business.
Okay, so with that being said, that's being it, and I also just like to say that, I like my job. A lot of people, I never thought I'd be in a position where I can say that, but I like my job, I like what I do, and I'm proud to say it.
I went to church Sunday, I saw all the keys and that was trapped on the red track. So I'm so glad that you guys cut by Mr. Rosenberg's house. That field, those old cars are. But the fourth ward, I'm telling you, you've made just a tremendous difference in that ward. And the people, in terms of the temperament of people, you changing their ideology and philosophy about the city of Harvard. And particularly towards me, and I want to thank you, because the previous individuals up throwing so much negative, and now you're out there throwing, creating problems. And that's a great thing, It feels good to be able to walk through where you grew up at, and you get your respect back. Your name is not turned. So I'll thank you for that. Thank you, sir. Now,
Thank you. Just one notice. There will be a finance committee meeting, continuation meeting, this Wednesday at 4:30 p.m. To finalize the budget. We hope to have this budget on the agenda at the next city council, hopefully. But it's open to the public, meetings, hopefully you can find some time to come Wednesday at 4:30 p.m. Thank you.
Alderman Price.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for coming out and attending. First, I want to say to Alderman Key, one thing that you will notice is when you start working in your ward hands-on and rolling your sleeve up, the people will start keeping the locks. The people will start, as soon as they see you, making sure that they come over, offer you some help, or I pulled up on blocks and they see me getting ready and they'll come out there and start picking the paper up at least for us, So when you work hands-on, this is the toughest thing I've ever done, is being an alderman. Like I said, you get cursed out when the snow is plowed, you get cursed out when it's not plowed. You're not going to satisfy everyone, but that never means stop giving 100%. You know what I'm saying? So just keep up the good work. I told you that you hit the ground running, and that's a good thing. Sometimes our people need that motivation to see somebody else better make them care. And as long as we as aldermen put in that work, I believe the citizens will respond. So that was just to you, that wasn't written down, but after hearing your report, I just wanted to commend you on your work. Ms. Joanne, thank you for acknowledging me. Mr. Clark, thank you for acknowledging me. As I told y'all on this EDC, I take it very serious. I'm not trying to hide anything, not trying to slip anything by. I want everybody to be aware, because the bottom line is it still has to come to this council for a vote, regardless of what goes to the EDC. I want the residents to think back to the last Chicago Tribune article that was written. It was written about the Kay Jewelers and all this money that was written with bogus checks. And the following week, they had to, I don't know the proper term, is it recant? Retract?
Yes, sir.
They had to retract that story. Now, that story that was retracted was put towards the middle of the paper somewhere real small, but they admitted that they were wrong in that story. And if you can, Mayor, on your next PowerPoint, if you could show the story and then that recant. Because the one thing that I am very confident in is Mr. Williams' professional level. I'm very confident in him. I don't believe, and I've said this before, I don't believe that he's gonna jeopardize his image that he has had through the finance world, being recognized and sitting in some very high spots dealing with finances. So we have to really think, and I never say that we don't have problems that we need to fix, but we have to be very cautious about propaganda. Because I wanted to actually ask the mayor and to look into the fact of if we could possibly sue the Tribune or the judge that stated 26 million was the verdict. I want the residents also to realize that this audit wasn't done by Mr. Kellogg Frack Brothers. This audit was done and overseen by the state. The state sat right here and told us at one of these meetings that they did not find any fraud. So who am I to sit here and say all this stealing and the fraud is going on when professionals can't find it? That's one thing I'm very careful about saying. Believe me, if I call somebody a liar, I know they lie. Okay, I'm not gonna call a person a thief. I'm not gonna call somebody anything that I haven't been witness to them being myself. So I definitely want us to look into, Mayor, I don't know, you might be talking about some fried chicken or something, but we need to really look into that, seeing about suing this newspaper who constantly writes misinformation. Because sometimes it's harder to chase that lie down than simply looking at the truth, which all of you heard Mr. Williams say. You can go to the audit and review pages 14 through 16 and look at all the water money and see that it was almost impossible for 26 million to get the verdict. So man, I don't know if you heard me, but I really want us to look into that judge making that statement on the record and that newspaper now. I gotta thank the street department for coming through. I know I stay on you, Mr. Sepet, and I wish we had more equipment or more workers, because I do understand that sometimes when you leave the 6th ward, there's 5 other wards that y'all gotta attend to. But as you know, as well as I know, and possibly every other alderman knows, sometimes we clean those alleys, and the next week or two, they're full with debris again. It's not that the street department isn't clean, but it takes time to go through each ward and hit each alley, and then 2 weeks after you get in out of one, it's filled back up with garbage everywhere. I want us to know, just as a community, if we could cut down on our dumping fees and get our taxes back up to around 70, 75%, from 50%, it will help us a lot. And I know it's tough to pay taxes. I didn't fell behind in taxes as well. So it's not like I don't understand that tax situation, especially for older people who may not have access to multiple streams of income. Sometimes God puts you through certain situations, and it's mainly to give you a better understanding of that situation. So sometimes you have to go through some things to understand it better. And I've talked to you all about, if you want to save Harvey, invest in Harvey. And that's something that I did a couple years ago with buying a house across the street from my house. Upon buying that house, I paid all the taxes, or so I thought, but it was taxes that came up. Those taxes, then so when I got the second installment, I go to pay the second installment, they tell me basically I'll double than that. So the election crept up on me. And now the county, for some reason, they're having these 2 sales and trying to take our houses even quicker than they ever did now. So I get caught all up in the election. I go down there that Wednesday, the day after the election, to pay the $3,100 I owe. I'm told the tax sale started. I'm like, well, I don't give a damn about tax sale started. I got my money out on y'all, take my money. They told me I had to wait 30 days before I could even pay those taxes. And I was like, wow, 30 days? So we gotta wait 30 days to see if your taxes are gone. So I wait the 30 days. I go down there, you gotta fill out paper. You gotta pay $10 to them so that they can mail you back the amount you owe. So when they mail me back the amount, it say, okay, you owe $33.50 or something. I said, dang, okay. It say, your taxes will not go up for another 6 months. You know, it goes up another 12% every 6 months now. So I'm like, okay, I got a little time to get this money together. I go down there last Friday with the $3,300, and they say, oh, they added your first installment on to it. Now you owe us another $1,800. And I looked at them and I said, wow, this is how y'all taking our people home. Now, if I wasn't a person that could go 3 days and Uber, Lyft, and Via, and make $900 to $1,000, I don't know how I would have found that money. So it humbled me with the understanding of realizing how they're taking our property. All I could think of was like, damn, if this was a senior on a fixed income, not driving, how do they find this money to come up with? So I just want to thank God, basically, for putting me through that. Now, I have been, many times I have got the warning, hey, you gotta pay these taxes or your house gonna be sold in a tax sale. I always made that date. But by this being an extra house, and me not knowing that first amount of taxes were due, it kind of threw me behind, so I was playing a catch-up game. But I just really want to thank God for putting me through that situation, because it gave me a better understanding of how, like I said, they take our community. And the people that bought the taxes was from somewhere like Pennsylvania or something. So I'm sitting here like, I mean, who are these people, and they taking our land? But man, it was a humbling experience, but it also let me know how much money I can make if I needed to using Lyft and Uber, because it definitely got me through it. So I just wanted to share that with y'all. Fight for your property. Don't just give it away. I believe the city is coming around. We had a couple of years of problems, but I believe we all really just come to the conclusion that this is more about serving people than agendas or anything like that. So thanks, Mr. Seppi, for the work you do in that street department. I did get a chance to see how the Bush Hall worked. I had to do a lot of begging and complaining, but I only wanted that lot right there along the fence of the Metro, which I feel like they should take care of. But it got extremely high. And to see that thing take out high grass the way it does, I wish we had a couple more and just that was their job, to just ride and cut. Like back in the days, just the fields constantly get hit. But I believe truly that is coming. I want to compliment the police department, because I would always jump on and talk junk in the past, and I've noticed a lot of changes. Still some stuff I don't like, but it ain't bad as it was at all. But I want to thank them on, we had a murder. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but what made me very angry was this young man testified to the people that was trying to help him about who had shot him.
Hey, before Bishop, before you leave, I just want to recognize, that was next on my list, to recognize Bishop Lee, Nehemiah Christian Center. We give a round of applause.
So this young man let the cashier at the gas station know actually who shot him after they both had just left out this store. The state's attorney failed to press murder charges on the individual that was brought in for questioning, and they let him go. It was really a learning experience. That's what I love about this. You learn so much stuff that you just really wouldn't have known. But when it comes to certain type of cases, it takes the state's attorney to bring the charges and not Harvey, which I didn't know that. I thought Harvey would be able to do, right, felony review and all that, right. So I want to compliment y'all, because I really know, bro, y'all went out there and y'all were shaking houses up, and you had your people knocking on doors. And so I want to compliment you all on the work that you all did and actually put so much pressure that the guy turned himself in. But he was a minor and you can only hold him for 24 hours. So he came in with a lawyer, don't say nothing for 24 hours, you gotta let him go. But I got faith in that they're gonna finish doing whatever it is they need to do and seal that case. So but I wanted to publicly thank you all for the work your squad put in, man. Our next EDC meeting will basically deal with, I haven't set the date. I emailed everybody once I got a date. It'll probably be next week. I'll try to, I don't know if y'all want to do it right before this meeting or not, to just get it out the way. But what we're dealing with is, like today you heard us talk about a lot of properties that people are picking up to get back on the tax road. The next EDC meeting will be full of properties that people picked up in the same way, but have not met their redevelopment. So we're taking them back. The one after that, we'll go back into trying to sell properties, but we have a long list of people who got properties for cheap, and it's time for us to take them back and find people that really want to get started and open a business and get that stuff back on. So that's the whole next agenda will strictly deal with taking properties back. So I just want to let you all know that openly. Hey, I appreciate the opportunity to serve as the economic
Fall. One of the children with my great nephew, and they'll be taking certain classes to work with certain people to deal with the issues of the Thornton phenomenal school, great leaders, Tony Rattler, but we got some real rats over there that we have to exterminate. That's it. I'll move over to Mr. Nunn.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Hope all is well. I want to get short. When I came in the door, I picked up the copy of the agenda. At the top of it says City of Harvey, regular city council meeting. My question is to the owner. There's been no mention of pending council business, and I'm speaking specifically the annual appropriations ordinance due the first quarter of the fiscal year. It's ending July 31st, about 6 days away, 7 days away. Is there anything on the table for us to hear about? Has anyone I've been to a couple of finance meetings and I've heard talk about what's going on and all that, but there's been no notice of a hearing to be held so that we can talk about what's going on. And I'm of the opinion that with the recent financial problems we've been having, the debt that we've incurred, whether we deal with it or not, is going to be more than 105% increase, 5% increase over last year's levy, which means there has to be a hearing to let us know what's going on. To date, I haven't heard anything. Is there anything in the makings?
I thought we was flat for the levy the last 2 years. We didn't raise the levy.
17, 18 is what we're working on.
Yeah, but we haven't raised anything over 5%. We're not even through with all the financial meetings. We just stated that we have another one coming up Wednesday, and that it'll be on the agenda. I don't know if you were here or asleep or what, but we just stated
Came to the 2 or 3 meetings you had.
Well, we're finally going through it. Now, at one point, there was a problem with us not having meetings, and now we're complaining about finally having meetings where everybody's involved. I don't understand.
Well, so far, I haven't said anything about a hearing for any of the last.
We haven't got to the hearing point.
For certain ones of the documents, there has to be. The truth and taxation.
there will be.
There has to be a hearing for that. And the county said so.
And there will be.
I'm not here to argue, I'm just asking a
But
question.
just have the facts right. I don't want to argue either. But it's information like what you're doing right now that get the residents in the uproar.
No, it's not.
I don't think it's an uproar. I think I'm calling myself trying to make you aware, educate you to what's going on.
That's misinformation. And if it's misinformation, that's part of the biggest problem we're having out here.
Mr. Nunn, may I? Okay. We have not gotten to that point in the process that you're talking about. You make a very good point. As far as the hearing is concerned, everybody in the city should be able to participate in the hearing. We have not gotten to that point yet. But I'd like to make it clear that for the very first time in a very long time, other than probably 2015, this council is slated to actually pass the budget, going through the proper process prior to the end of the first fiscal month. In, I don't know, I'm gonna say it's not throwing past aspersions, but in almost 10 years, okay, if not 5.
Well,
But in
like I
other
said
words,
earlier.
it's something that we need to do. So if you would please, at least accept what I'm telling you as far as we are headed in that direction. We are moving much better than we have before. And that's the reason why I'm saying it, and I don't have Ms. Price here, Mr. Neb, Mr. Key, or anybody who's supposed to be on the opposition of the faction. That's why I'm saying it. Because the simple fact is I want people to understand that we are headed in the right direction as far as getting that budget passed. And you have attended some meetings. We want you to continue to come to those meetings. And if you continue to come to those meetings, you will be informed of when that public hearing is, if it's necessary as a part of the process. And then you can attend and participate in that as well. We'd love to have you.
I appreciate the invitation, but to clarify what I was asking, the appropriations ordinance is due now. It was due before the end of the first quarter. First quarter starts May, June, and July. If you're gonna use a budget, I can argue with that.
So what's today's date?
Today is the 24th, got 7 days, I said that earlier.
Okay, well, then what's the issue?
It's gotta be at least 10 days, and I'm pretty sure with the $26 million debt we've just recently incurred, it's gonna put us over the 5% increase, meaning that you have to have a hearing now.
I beg your forgiveness, okay? So on that note, you're right. But this council has normally passed the budget the last Tuesday of December.
That's the tax levy, sir.
Let me just finish.
That's the tax levy.
No, we passed a budget on the last Tuesday of December and turn around and pass a levy right there for 15 seconds thereafter. Now, we are almost 6 months ahead. As much as I complain sometimes, and people know I do, okay? I gotta give credit where credit is due as far as this is concerned. So the fact is, we are almost 5 or 6 months ahead of schedule, a place that we have not normally been. All I'm asking is, from not just from you, but anybody else in the viewing audience, is a little bit of patience. If we end up passing it 7 days after, I think the 7 days is a far cry better than 6 months
I
after.
agree with you. All I'm asking is that there be a notice so we'll know when it's
There
coming.
will there be a notice, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
Yes, there will, sir.
Thank you, sir.
So, and I look forward to seeing you there, because I look forward to hearing
Be
everything.
here with
you have to
bells
say.
on.
Yes, sir.
If I have to get along with Rudolph.
Motion to adjourn.